Hi, folks. Steve Urban here, founder and CEO at recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex. If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. And if you enjoy listening to our show, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on the episodes. Finally, aside from our podcast, our day job here at Riderflex is to provide recruiting, staffing, and consulting services. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get the information on the services we provide. And now, a quick word from our sponsor and friends at Marketing 360.
Try the #1 marketing platform for small business. Everything you need from design to marketing to CRM. Learn more at marketing360.com. Marketing 360. Fuel your brand.
Al Gardner on the Riderflex podcast. Good morning, Al.
Good morning. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm doing all right. And where are you today?
I'm in Denver, Colorado.
All right. We're recording this on November 24th for the listeners, by the way. So one day before Thanksgiving. You're not going to work a full day, I hope, are you?
Well, I won't say that because this may be published, and I'll say, sure, I'm a workaholic, Steve.
Yeah.
I'll be here, man. Burning the midnight oil.
This is that day where usually my wife will start prepping some food, early, and so I'm in there, and I kind of act like I'm helping a little bit, I do a couple of dishes here and there, if I see the sink piling up, I'll grab some stuff, and then I'm gonna grab a glass of wine, and then take the trash out, maybe another glass of wine, and then
right. And you end up doing not too much, huh?
Right. And then I'm usually on the couch crashing pretty early. Yeah. But anyway,
it's funny.
Appreciate you being on the show. Thank you.
Sure.
Walk us through, Al, the early years, some family stuff, where you grew up, parents, siblings. You give us some of that if you don't mind.
Yeah. I'm originally from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So I've been in Colorado now almost 20 years, right at 20 years. So I consider myself a full Coloradoan at this point. This interesting, I grew up in a part of Houston called Third Ward.
Third Ward, okay.
Third Ward, that's Central Houston, and I went to Jack Yates High School, and that school became the name on the map, unfortunately, for George Floyd, who was a teammate of mine during football.
Really?
So he was a football teammate of mine.
Wow.
Yeah. He was a year behind me, but I remember him as a teammate. So interesting there. But yeah, we been here 20 years. 4 siblings. Yeah, 4 siblings.
So you're a fifth. So I'm
number 2.
Fifth. You're number 2 out of 5. Okay. All right. How many brothers and sisters?
1 brother, 3 sisters. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mom, dad, parents still in Houston?
Father passed away, but my mother is still in Houston. Yeah. And I think I got my tech bones from my dad, who was an early technical advisor and worked for Southwestern Bell, if you remember that, from the Ma Bell system in AT&T for many years. Yeah.
So he was a tech guy. Okay, so that
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. And were you in high school? Were you the straight A athlete?
No. No. None of that. I got serious, I think, my junior year.
Okay.
I got serious my junior year, and graduated. Went to college. Attended Wiley College, which is an HBCU there in East Texas.
Okay.
Made famous by the movie The Great Debaters, starring Denzel Washington. To get that far.
Nice. Why there? Why that school?
I had some relatives that had gone there.
Okay.
Also, I had a friend of mine who had attended. The classes were small. It was a smaller liberal arts college. I kind of wanted to attend an HBCU, just wasn't sure which one. Went to Wiley, fell in love with it, and there I was.
Did you did you play sports there? Did you do some intramural
Nope.
sports? Anything?
No sports. And I think,
Okay.
thinking back on, I think I played football because I could, but I was never really passionate about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my younger brother was really passionate about football. He played at SMU for 4 years and,
Cool.
did some stuff post, but not. So I was more focused on actually journalism.
Oh, really? Was that
Yeah,
your major?
journalism. That was my major.
How
Uh,
how does a journalism major turn into an IT executive? I will get
yeah.
into that, but okay. So, what did you think? Did you think you were going to be a writer or work for a newspaper? What was the early
I,
plan?
I wanted to work on the backside of news, producing news. I didn't want to be
Really?
anchor. I wanted to produce and to
Wow.
sit in the office and try to uh, make the news move.
Where did that little bug come from? How did that spark happen?
Yeah, I've always been sort of a news junkie,
Okay.
when I was younger, which was kind of weird. I've always been interested in newspaper and TV and how those stories evolved. When I got to school and majored in that, that's when it really started bubbling up, and I really enjoyed writing. I enjoyed the responses that it invoked from people,
Okay.
and that's where that kind of came from.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Interesting. All
yeah,
right. Married, kids, partners. How about your
yeah.
current personal life?
I
Yeah.
am married, 3 children, all adults, so
Oh,
no
nice.
cooking for me this year.
You're an empty nester, full blown empty nesters now.
Yeah, yes, I am. One granddaughter. Can't
Oh,
forget her.
nice.
Yeah, so yeah, my oldest daughter, she's 3. So yeah.
Very nice. Okay, are they
Mhm.
gonna have? They're gonna be over for Thanksgiving. You gonna see the
They may
granddaughter?
drop over. They may drop over. I'll probably go see them so I can eat because my wife and I probably won't cook too much this year.
I got.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun? Isn't it great being an empty nester? I love it.
Oh,
I
oh,
mean, hey, I love it.
oh, it's fantastic. There's no downside to me. I mean, they're right here in the city. I'm blessed to have all 3 of them here. All 3 of them are here, so I can go see them and they can come over, but
Right.
the house is quiet most of the time.
It is wonderful. It took me about 6 months to get adjusted, I think, really. But after I kind of found my rhythm and Kim and I kind of refound ourselves, right, to spend
Yeah,
time on ourselves and spend money on ourselves.
yeah, yeah.
uh, I'm really good with it now. I'm amazed at how clean the house stays.
That's a
I'm
really big
all,
point.
I'm also amazed at how little money we spend. Like Kim and I could live off really not very much money. It's amazing
Yeah.
how much less you spend when there's no kids
Oh,
around.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's a constant buying cycle, so
Yeah. I'm like you. I love my kids. And I actually
yeah.
coincidentally, I have one granddaughter that's 3 years old as well. So
Okay.
I can relate. Yeah, I love it. All
Yeah.
right, cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Walk me walk us through kind of your early career and then how you turned into an IT executive. Walk us through it a
Yeah.
little bit.
I started my career, it's funny, got married fairly young. Was young, actually, got married. First job out, I'll never forget, a friend of my dad's. I was looking for a job at a radio station. I
Okay.
ended up taking a job at a radio station in Houston, a smooth jazz station. I was on late at night.
As a
Disney
DJ?
as a DJ.
I thought you wanted to work the backside.
I did. Couldn't get on anywhere. I took what
Okay.
was I took what was offered.
All right.
Because I did radio in college on
Okay.
our campus radio station. So I was like,
Mm,
I'll take this and keep looking for opportunities.
okay.
Disney bought the radio station,
Mm,
turned us into board operators, so we would no longer have speaking parts. We would
mm,
only be operating the board. I was like, this is not going to do it. Not to mention the money was very, very low then.
mm,
It was not
mm.
a big contract. Friend of mine said, I know where you can make more money. You can come help me be an electrical helper. So
Electrical helper.
an electrical
I,
helper.
I would have been like,
Yeah.
what does that mean? I don't
Uh,
know.
yes, that's where I was. Basically, you carry around my tools and I teach you how to be an electrician.
Okay, I guess. Were you married at the time?
Married, kid,
Ooh, all
had
right.
to, right? Had to,
All right.
had to, had
Yep.
to, had to
Yep.
make this go.
Mm-hmm.
Did that, worked there for about almost right at a year.
Okay.
he came across another opportunity and said, I know you don't really like this. You want to make more money? This is in the technical realm. They have a job over here at Fisk Information Technologies. Take a job over here, make a little bit more money. Okay. By then, I think I had two kids because my first two
All right.
children are a year apart.
All right.
Needed to make more money. Got in there and became a cable puller. If
Oh.
anybody's familiar with the IT kind of bottom, you don't. That's kind of where that's ground floor.
All
Pulling Cat 5 and Cat 3
right.
cable, and from there, really won't run through everything, but from there, that was my start.
Interesting.
And through the years, I've gained more, more opportunities and learned more. Moved into network engineering and management roles. So.
Are you a programmer? Can you write code and stuff or no?
No, I'm all
Okay.
infrastructure. My background is infrastructure,
Yeah.
security, hardware. Yeah.
Okay. So now at an executive level, when these guys come in to like string some cable underneath the desk and run it through the wall, you can relate. You can relate, right? You have empathy. You have empathy for them.
All right. Well, I definitely understand that piece for sure. And and it does help. I think to have that background because I understand really how the folks that work on my team, I understand what it takes for them to accomplish it, from system engineer to network engineer. I've spent those late nights. I've been up. I know how it is to set up data centers, and I can see where those experiences have come into play.
Mm-hmm. And now at Inspirato as the VP of Information Technology and Security. First, for the listeners, will you do just a quick overview on Inspirato for the listeners?
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah, Inspirato is a luxury vacation club. We're a hospitality organization, right?
Okay.
Not like Airbnb or anything like that. We fully operate these homes all around the world, and we focus on white glove service for our customers. So they're curated experiences from the time if you go to a house in North Carolina or you go to a home in Hawaii or Puerto Rico, the same level of service is at each one of those homes, and that's what Inspirato is essentially.
Okay.
And folks can join Inspirato and have access to all of our homes.
Is it like a
Yeah,
monthly fee? Is it an annual
there
membership?
is.
Okay.
Yeah, we were one of the industry pioneers actually for being able to do travel subscription services
Mm,
called Inspirato Pass.
mm.
And we've had very good response to that in the industry.
Is that
Yeah,
do you take care of all of my rental car, my flights, and all that too, or just the house?
everything,
Ooh,
everything.
oh,
So
really, really?
you get on the phone with our vacation planners, and they literally run through every detail,
Mm,
as much detail as you would like. As as um, as employees, we're able to take what's called fam trips, where we actually are able to
cool,
go and spend time.
cool.
So it's it's a fantastic experience. Yeah.
Do you guys own the homes, or you have a relationship with the owners, and then there's something worked? How
Um,
does that work?
a mix of both.
Okay,
Yeah, a mix
okay.
of both, and which has been to our benefit. Obviously, this past year with the pandemic, and travel was down. It enables us the flexibility there to be able to adjust
Mm,
to that. So
mm.
it's a really smart way. I think that it was initially set up to have a good mix of that.
So if I want to, let's say my wife and I want to spend 4 days in Santa Barbara
Uh,
or whatever, I can call you guys up like, look, can you just get me a super nice place near the water in Santa Barbara? And boom, you just take care of it. You start taking care of the details.
Yeah, you call up and you let them know what your travel plans are, what you want to do, how large of a house, how small of a home, or if you want to stay at a hotel. So we have a
Mm,
lot of hotel partners.
mm,
So there is a infinite amount of ways that we
mm,
put together these vacations for folks.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, very
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I like the idea. My wife and I have done VRBO many times.
Hmm.
Um, you know what the biggest pain in the ass is for VRBO for me? I don't
Hmm.
know if you guys have rectified this or fixed this, but the biggest pain in the ass for VRBO is you get there, you set your bags down, then you got to go to the grocery store. and get stuff. Like I that part is annoying for me. Do you have that fixed?
Yeah, well, yes, we do actually.
Okay.
You
All right.
don't. We will actually do the shopping for you before you
Oof,
get there.
nice.
Shopping list.
Nice.
I went to Mexico this summer with some friends recently in one of my fam trips, and we did just that. This is
Mm,
the house stocked for 8 people. Um,
nice.
we had a
There you go.
chef who made us breakfast every morning.
What? Oh,
Oh yeah.
on-site chefs. Oh, okay.
Oh
You're
yeah.
okay. Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. So trust me, Steve,
What?
we
Oh.
definitely, that is our niche.
Now, if
Yeah.
this podcast hits a certain peak, you're gonna have to talk to your bosses over there and make sure
Right.
Riderflex gets on the fam trip list.
You know?
Uh, that's awesome, man. That's it. By the way,
Yeah.
I loved how when I was studying you and studying the company, I loved how they have a full page like dedicated to perks and benefits of the company and all the cool reasons to work there. I thought that was great, by the way.
Yeah.
Really, it looks like a great culture for the company. You've been there 6 years, so the culture must be
Yeah.
pretty good, huh?
I'm enjoying it. It remains a challenge in a good way. I have a great team. I really
Mm,
do.
mm,
And I believe that the leadership understands this sector of travel,
mm,
and
mm.
I believe that they have a good vision for where we want to take the company. So
On
makes it easy.
on the security side, would you consider yourself a security expert at this point? I mean, is that fair?
I would say I'm a secure, yeah, from a
Oh,
administrative
okay.
and strategy perspective. Yeah.
Do I have to? How worried should I be? As a small, as a so let me give you a little background here. So Riderflex, our recruiting firm, our day job, because Riderflex
Yeah.
is a recruiting firm. The podcast is something we do on the side. We have, I don't know, 100,000 candidates in our database. We have, uh, we're entirely on Google, right? Like all of our documents are on Google. Like we don't,
Hmm.
and all of our people work remotely. Um, should I be scared every day that I'm going to get hacked by the Chinese or what?
You know, there's like there are
Uh,
two schools of thought, right, with security right now. One school is always be on edge and kind of operate in this state of frenzy, right, where
mm, mm,
something's going to happen. The other school that I kind of ascribe to is I'm going to do, and companies should do everything within their power to do correctly, right?
okay.
Let's do our technical push-ups every day. Compliance guides what we need to do, right? This is where you need to be. But the daily activities of making sure those things are done is where most companies fail and
Mm-hmm.
where most things happen. So I would say no. I would say put a North Star there for your compliance level, and B, follow them through. Chances are that none of us will get out clean.
Okay.
When I that's that's just how it is.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
And
Good to know.
there's plenty of evidence of that from the government, State Department on down to a three-person business at this point has been
Mm.
hacked at some level. So you just
Can
want
you
to.
can you see how many times a day you got or how many times a week you guys are can you do you have
Oh
like
yeah,
some
constantly.
oh really?
I
Really?
keep a second monitor to the right of me, quite honestly, that has our software that does this type of monitoring of threats in our environment to my
Wow.
right, and so
Wow.
I kind of look at it in my peripheral every day, all day.
That is interesting. And what are they when I say they, I don't really know who they I don't know the bad guys. What are they after like most of the time?
You know, well, obviously, information, I will say that, but I'll drill down because people think that they're just big nebulous attackers, like they don't have a reason for doing it. They're just going out there to see what they can find.
Mm,
That's not true. They're very targeted. So when companies, let's say, are looking at a company that has a lot of member data or information about someone's habits,
mm,
then they start looking at hospitality companies. Marriott, recently, a couple of years ago, was it, where they're looking for that information,
mm,
and they
mm,
sell that information or use that information themselves to either go in deeper to someone's life and cause another crime or
Mm,
perpetrate
mm,
another crime. So a lot of times it's the beginning
mm.
what they want information.
Wow. I do worry about it. I guess
Yeah.
as a CEO and a founder of a small business, I'm of course as a startup founder, you're worried all the time anyway about everything.
Yeah.
But security wise, I do worry about that. But I also don't want to be afraid to take action and move forward. Like I have to
Right.
live, right? I got to charge forward. I mean,
Yeah. And yeah, it is. And everyone has a method for how they feel you should do security, right?
mhm.
I have talked to many, contractors, many folks who specialize in security. Well, you should do this. Well, you shouldn't do that. I don't like this program. I think this piece of software does it better. At the end of the day, I have our North Star. I have what's important to us, and I'm going to deploy the software and the resources that I feel helps us best meet it. And that's
Mm.
just the best you can do.
What's the stickiest situation you've ever come across, not just at Inspirato, but just career wise? Give me a story where, yeah, you got into a battle on a security thing where somebody got some information or something. You got a good story for us, without
Ugh.
sharing specific names.
I have a really good one, but I can't talk about these folks. I
Oh,
would say,
okay.
the really good one. I will say this one. I think there was a time in two iterations back where the attack came from inside. It was an internal
Oh, oh, really?
attack. Yes, and that was a little bit before you really had to focus on folks like Varonis and other tools that help you kind of uh, be able to look at the internal part of a network. This was
Mm,
probably about 10 years ago. So
hmm.
it was difficult to track that down. The scary thing is that it went on for a while. It would stop, then it would start again because we just didn't have the tools to know that it
Interesting.
was coming from the inside. And
Did you finally knew it was coming from the inside? And then did it take you another few months to figure out who it was?
it did. We had to hire some outside security
Wow.
folks to actually come in and
Wow.
do some forensics on it. But we actually hired one on staff that I actually hired as a technician. He was actually a security person who was looking for that person, but we said he's a technician as to not cause suspicion. And they
Oh,
were able to
oh.
track that individual down.
Wow. And let me
Yeah,
guess. Let
yeah.
me guess. The individual was doing it because they were pissed off at their boss about whatever, and they blah blah blah.
They were actually taking small increments of money.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, evidently they were under some financial pressure because of some other activities, illegal activities, and that was the motivation. But I never knew that
Interesting.
this person even had that type of computer skills, and that was the scary thing about it. So it was nobody in IT. This was someone in a
Oh,
completely, yeah, this was someone in a completely different department, nowhere associated with technology, and that was the scary thing.
meanwhile, then for months you're looking at your own IT team, thinking one of these people on my IT team is a
Has to
bad
be one of these people.
guy. Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
that's
it was
wild.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm.
I want to move into another topic here because I know you mentioned diversity and inclusion on the little video that's on Inspirato. Like they have this nice little video where everybody's talking and you're on there. By the way, you're
Yeah.
looking good. You're looking good on camera.
Thank you, sir.
And you guys seem to have a great culture there at that company, and diversity and inclusion seem to be important. I'd like to ask you some things about that
Sure.
topic. Um, First of all, I guess the first question would be, what is, when you hear the term diversity and inclusion, what does that mean to you as an individual? Like, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a great question because I think I've kind of reached a point where it is we have to be careful because it just is a term, right? And I don't want it
Mm-hmm.
just to become a term. And when I
Mm-hmm.
hear it now, it kind of
Mm-hmm.
just is a term, right?
Mm-hmm.
To
Yes.
be
Yep.
honest, D&I it just rolls off the lips.
It does. It does.
I personally look forward to the day that we don't need it. And I say that because that's what I'm looking forward to. So we don't even need it. That we just kind of do. But it means to me in practice, when it's practice, um, a real awareness of who's around, what's around, where you live, and how people are important. Everyone's important where you are. To me, it's a real awareness, a deep awareness, not cerebral. Let me check the box, or I have to do this, or I have to attend that, and it becomes drudgery, but just an awareness, and that's the way I see it.
Okay, very good. So, let me ask you this: does it mean to you, or do you ever think, okay, diversity and inclusion is important.
Mm,
I need to make another hire. I need to hire somebody else on my team in the IT department.
mhm,
Let me look at the makeup of my department. Okay, I got 5 white guys over here. I got
mhm,
three white females. I got 1 Hispanic female. I got 2 black males. Whatever you're
mhm,
looking, do you look at your team makeup and then make decisions thinking, okay, we need to be more balanced. Like we don't have any Hispanics on our team, so I'm
mhm,
gonna make sure I hire a Hispanic person. Do you
mhm.
ever look at it that way or no?
I do.
Okay.
I do look at my teams, and I do try to, not try to, but I do um, find ways to attract diverse talent, right? Um, I'm very active outside of technology spaces,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I go to various different community groups. And when I have an opportunity open, I shop it to them. I want to expose them to let them know, here, this is what we have, and I want to bring those other cultures in. I think it enriches the team. I think it keeps us all from a point where we all come from a same background, even if we think in terms of different countries, right? Just being an American, choosing someone else who grew up in American culture. You and I never met until today. But I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, if we sit down for another 30 minutes, we probably have a lot in common just by
Mm-hmm.
how we grew up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two
Mm-hmm.
different races.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're from Texas or not.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, close enough. I'm sorry to hear that, but I guarantee you, just
Uh,
because we're American, and I found a lot of value in even in making an effort to get folks who grew up in Venezuela, or who grew
mm-hmm.
up in Dominican Republic, watching the work ethic, watching the different types of communication. I think it strengthens a team,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I do make an effort for that. It's not like I wouldn't hire someone like holding out until I get a diverse candidate, but I make the effort to put it out there.
That is so well said. So I want to just pause right here for the listeners. So
Mhm,
this is a key moment. So it's interesting. You said I make sure that I attend the right groups, the right functions, go to the right conferences, whatever, to make sure I shop it. Like I announce to this group, or I want to make sure this organization over here knows about this opening so that I'm shopping it to the right groups so that they know about it and have an opportunity to raise their hand and say, I'm interested. That right there is so key. And here's why. So, as a recruiting firm, right, as a CEO of a recruiting firm, I know already from experience, if I post a CEO job, let's say we got a CEO search going on,
mhm.
I can guarantee you that 96% of the applicants that we get coming inbound will be all white males.
Right.
Like we'll get very few females, very few minorities. I mean, we've
Mhm,
probably done, I don't know, 5 or 6 C-level searches this last 12 months.
mhm,
And I shit you not, Al, like, do you know how
mhm.
many black males applied for those?
How
Almost
many?
zero, almost zero.
I'm not shocked.
And so to your point, I think the key right here, what you said, which I love, is you got to make sure that you're announcing in the right areas and the right groups and shopping it to the right people so that they know
Right.
about it, and you're shaking bushes in the right places to get the awareness out there. That
Mhm.
is critical.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear. That's kind of where it is. I'll say this. We were looking to bring more diversity into to this company, and I would say, well, in Colorado, if we're looking in the same couple of spaces,
Mhm.
then the number of black or minority candidates that are going to apply are going to be relatively low, right?
Tiny. Yep. Tiny. Yep.
It just is.
Yep.
What I did was create a pipeline with partnership with my alma mater, Wiley. I
Mm,
took a trip down there with a
mm.
member of HR. We stood there, we met kids, shook their hands, looked at their resumes, and we brought that young man in. He's now a
Mm.
member of my team, actually. But
Great.
we had to create those pipelines, and that's another huge chasm there because there is so much talent out there. But if the
Mhm.
pipelines are in the same spots, we're going to have the same outcome, right? What's the saying? If you do the same thing every day and expect a different outcome, that's insanity, and that's kind of where we are.
Totally agree. I could not agree more. Great move on your part, by the way, to do that. I think that's a great move because you're right. Because Colorado, let's just use Colorado as an example. I mean, uh, percentage of white, black, Hispanic in Colorado. I mean, I don't know, percentage of black people in Colorado. It's small, tiny
Yeah,
compared
it's
to
around
most states, right?
3%, maybe a little bit higher than
3%.
3%. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
3%. So if you're looking for diversity on that, you have to go out, you have to make efforts to go out and find it. And I think the other thing you said there, which I loved, was it doesn't mean if you get a Hispanic female and a black male and you're interviewing them and they're both sharp or whatever,
mhm,
you're not saying, hey, I'm going to pick the black male on purpose no matter what. You're saying I just want to make sure that
right.
the black male is in the interview.
That's right. To the table. I had someone ask me that. I presented at talking about diversity inclusion at this IT summit recently, and someone asked me that. I said, "Well, you hiring someone because they're black and they're not qualified, you're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
helping the situation at
yeah,
all,
yeah.
right?
No,
Because for every
no, yeah.
if you hire a black person that's unqualified, guess what you're doing? You're taking it away from a black person that is qualified or a white person that's qualified,
Good point.
right?
Yeah.
So it's not about you pulling the trigger
Mhm.
just because to have that. It's about, to your point, getting to the table and having a voice.
That is such good stuff. One of the things, because I'll be, to be perfectly honest,
Yeah,
I targeted you specifically, right?
I'll
I
take
I,
that.
I targeted you because I'm very conscious now, even more than I used to be.
Yeah.
When we first started the podcast, I remember when we first started the Riderflex podcast. I don't know, our first 20 guests were all just white guys that I knew, like they were in my
Mhm.
circle, right? This
Yeah,
friends of mine. Like I didn't even think about it. Like my head was never thinking about diversity. I was just calling people I knew. Well,
right.
yeah, I'm calling the guys I hung out with, other business owners I knew, right?
Sure.
And we get about 20 or 30 guests in, and I get this great lady who ended up being a podcast on the guest. She's wonderful. I won't mention her name, but she gets me on the phone. She goes, Steve, she goes, your podcast is like all just white dudes, right? And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, yeah, I guess it is. Like I didn't. Thanks for pointing that out.
That's, but that is kind of the way that we move in society,
Yes.
right? I'll say growing up in Houston, Texas, I went to predominantly all black elementary, middle, high school, and invariably I went to a black college. That was
Mm,
my circle.
mm.
And those are the folks around. That was my network. When I moved here into to Colorado, that started expanding a lot more,
Oh, big
right?
time. And that's completely different. Yeah, completely different. You went from
Huge.
you went from you went from like 75% on one side to
Oh yeah,
3%. Yeah. Wow.
it
For you,
is.
that was like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so that kind of changed, and now consequently my mentors are white men, and
Yeah.
some of the best friendships that I have. I think we have to push ourselves to go out of those circles
Mhm.
because they're naturally comfortable. And when you push yourself to really kind of go out of the circle, not, and I've had people do it, well, just going and looking for, I need a black friend. That's not the case, but put yourself in a situation where you're learning more about someone different, and it really is enriching.
It is, isn't it? It just really expands your whole mind.
Hmm.
Your the way you think, you just learn so much. I had a friend of mine recently. I was talking to her. She's lesbian
Hmm.
and married to another friend of mine,
Hmm.
and she was teaching me about the whole pronoun thing, right? The whole pronoun
Hmm.
thing. And I was asking her questions. I was like, okay, so what does this mean? I see these parentheses and this and that and this and that. And Al, she just like opened my eyes to like things. I'm like, oh shit, okay, so that's what
Hmm.
that means. Oh, that's what this means. That's what the intent of this is. You're right. If you just expand your circle just a little bit, you
Just a little
can
bit.
really be enlightened to
That's
so
right.
many things. And
That's right.
she spent like 15 minutes with me educating me. I called my partner Scott. I'm like, I said, bro, I said, holy shit, did you know this, and this? And he goes, huh? He
Hmm.
goes, I didn't know that. And then my wife
Hmm.
comes home. My wife comes home, and I'm telling my wife these things. My wife's like, I didn't know that. I'm like, well,
Uh-huh.
we have to like we have to get out of our little inner circle here and expand our minds a little bit.
Right. You do. Yeah.
What's the goal for Al? Do you want to? Are you looking to be? I mean, do you want to continue to advance to CIO, CTO for a Fortune 500 company, CEO? Like, what's your goal? I know your bosses might end up listening to this
Oh,
particular
that's
episode.
okay. Yeah, no, listen, there's no secret there. I want I'm looking to advance to the C-level role, right? Because that
Okay.
for me, 26 years in, is my want to be my natural progression.
Nice.
And I want to be in those I'm not necessarily going for the Fortune 500. Um, I like medium level businesses.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally, this is kind of my space. I enjoy high growth companies. I enjoy small to medium companies that are trying to get there. That's what gets my blood pumping. Um,
Nice. All right.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
And I want to
Very
be at
good.
there. Yeah.
When you get to be the C-level person, let me ask you this. This is another fun topic I like asking executives about. Should C-level folks for companies be on social media, raising the flag to say, I believe this, I believe that about whatever topic, like no specific topic, just
I'm,
any topic, right? Just pick one. Should CEOs be like, hey, we're a fan of purple, and and if you're a fan of yellow, you're bad, or should CEOs be doing that? What are your
I'm
thoughts?
not big on that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I had a CEO during the whole of a pretty sizable company here in Colorado that I became friends with over
Okay.
cigars. And he asked me, well, I'm going back and forth with putting something about George Floyd and Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I told him honestly, I said, save the words. You don't save the words. I said,
Mm,
the
mm,
words aren't what's needed.
mm.
Action is what's needed. And if you're going to put your energy behind anything, put your energy behind educating your staff, exposing your staff, and talking to your staff about how you can make a difference. Save the
Mm.
words. We don't need a slogan. Slogans are plenty out there. Let's do it. And
That goes
yeah,
back to what you were saying earlier. The whole diversity and inclusion rolls off the tongue of everybody. Everybody likes to say it, but what really matters is actions.
action, action.
Yeah, my thoughts on that are I get annoyed when CEOs or founders are taking a side on social media for
Yeah,
a topic just to get marketing for their
right,
company.
right.
And there's actually there's a selfish intent there. It's not really because
Of
they give a
course.
shit, or they're just like, oh, I'm just
No.
this will get attention for our brand or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. That's a kind of a
Uh,
pet peeve. I just not
I
big
don't,
on that.
yeah, I'm not big on that. Couple of more questions here for
Sure.
you. As an IT security guy, should employees be monitored when they work from home? Should we have a camera on them? Should we have like
Mm.
a timer? How many hours are they on their laptop? Like how far should that go?
Yeah. In my opinion, it should go as far as you need it to go in order to maintain a secure environment and ensure that your data is not unnecessarily exposed.
Mm.
So it depends. What do I actually need to monitor? I don't monitor anything that we don't need to, right? I'm not
Okay.
looking for everything that comes in and out on your Google search,
Okay.
unless a word triggers something that could expose. Um,
Mm.
and most people, to be honest, actually do it unintentionally. And those are the ones that put companies at greatest risk. When you visit places you shouldn't, it's not that I care about what you do on your time, because I honestly don't. You know,
Mm.
people say that, well, you're watching my stuff. No, trust me, I could care less, right? Like I have, but I am concerned if you're going places that expose us. So yeah, as far as you need
Interesting.
to.
Interesting. So you're not like, hey, Johnny, I saw that you were on Facebook today for 20 minutes. There's none of that.
Mm-mm, not
Uh,
my concern. Um, unless Johnny downloads something from Facebook, in which place
mm,
the what's on his laptop is there to prevent him or her from doing it, right?
mm,
Or if the manager reaches out and is like, so and so is excessive amount of time. But other than that, I at this stage I think it's a losing battle, because this almost the culture that we're in. Should be an expectation that employees are going to use these different types of mediums. I think on the back end is IT and security. We just have to make sure we have the tools in place to A, be alerted, and B, take action.
isn't it interesting? I remember, so I was the president and COO of a $40 million company out in Maryland back in 2010.
Hmm.
And I can remember then as an executive getting irritated and pissed if I found out employees were on Facebook while at work. I remember that
Hmm.
being an issue. Like, oh, these,
Hmm.
people are wasting their time on this freaking social media. I need them to do their work.
Hmm.
Now, here we are 10 years later, and I'm begging my employees to go on social media and talk about our company and market it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how that works, but that's kind of how it is now, because
It is.
it's a never-ending cycle of it, right?
Yeah,
So,
totally. How about this one? Appreciate you letting me ask you these sensitive questions, because a lot of CEOs and VPs like you are being faced
mhm,
with these decisions. What about this? If you were the CEO of your own company right now, are you going to mandate vaccinations? Are you going to
mhm.
mandate masks? Are you going to make them come to the office? Are you going to let them work remote? If you, what's Al doing? And I realize now,
Yeah.
just for the listeners, let me set the stage just real quickly. I'm asking Al this on November 24th, 2021, keeping in mind that there's a current initiative from the Biden administration to possibly force companies to do it coming out January 4th, but that's already being pushed back on by certain governors. So it's still at play. So I just want to set that stage
Yeah.
so everybody understands. Okay, now, yeah, what's Al
Sure.
doing?
As the CEO of Alcorp, not Inspirato, but Alcorp, I do mandate it if you want to be in the office.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Because I think the benefit outweighs the risk,
Mm,
in
mm,
my opinion. And I would see it as my responsibility to protect those individuals who
okay.
are coming in to do my work, right?
Okay. All right.
If you want, you're remote, I have no control over that, and that's fine. But if you want to come in, then yeah, I would
What if
definitely go for
I'm
that.
what if I'm remote,
Hmm.
but I have to come to the office once a month to be in a meeting? Do you
Yeah,
make me?
you need a couple shots then. Yeah, if you're gonna
Okay.
break this plane, the door, you're gonna have to get
Okay.
the shots. That's just my.
Do I have to wear a mask?
If you have the shots, I would say no, but if you're comfortable with it, you should. I still wear mask in meetings. I'm fully back. Matter of fact, I got my booster 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I still wear a mask. And it's just my level of comfort with it.
Okay. Okay.
And from where I am, I don't know. I'm still comfortable with doing it. And I kind of like the fact that last year I didn't get sick at all, not even a cold. And probably due to
Oh,
that, wearing that mask, there's something to it. I was like, I didn't
ah,
realize I didn't get sick at all. So
good point. That's a good
in no
point.
rush to take it off.
That's a good point. Well, what about this? Where do you think this remote work is going? Do you see, what do you see in the future? Yeah,
I
go for
love
it.
that question because I think people are going to want to come back and be together.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I think it'll remain a healthy hybrid situation, but folks by and large right now want to interact with each other. They want that interaction. I think we're going through a period of adjustment. Everyone's trying to deal with it mentally and the best way we can, so separation makes sense. But as we come on the north side of this, whatever this is, I think
Hmm.
folks will come together. I don't think it will remain, I don't know, just indefinitely mass amounts of folks working from home. I just don't see that part of human
Okay.
behavior. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last two questions. I know we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Uh, Great career so far, by the way. Congratulations on everything you've
Thank
done
you.
so far. You're moving right along. You probably are going to hit the sea level pretty soon.
I hope so.
You're headed that way. But based on what you have learned so far, if
Mhm.
you could call your 21-year-old self coming out of college and tell the young Al anything based on what you've learned, what would you say?
Mm, very good question, Steve. Um, be patient.
Mm,
I've missed some opportunities from being impatient, and
okay.
I've missed some good potential opportunities being impatient. So be patient.
Okay. All right. Very good. Last question. Now, at this stage, at this age, if you could define your core purpose in life in maybe a sentence, why is Al walking around on this planet? What's Al's core purpose for right now, moving forward?
Mm. I want to lift as I climb.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
What what's very, very, very important to me, what makes me absolutely excited and energized is being able to reach back or reach sideways and bring someone with me. I love seeing people who work on my team advance, even if you advance beyond me. That excites me. So I want
Mm,
to lift as I climb.
that is great. Oh, I have not heard that line. I'm going to have to use that one. I'm stealing that. I'm going to use that,
Yeah,
Al. That's good. I
yeah,
like it.
yeah. That is
Uh,
a phrase that I learned some time ago, and it does embody where I am from. It's a fraternal phrase, actually.
Love it. Al, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being on the Riderflex podcast and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. I've had a great time. Thanks for the questions. It was a lot of fun.